Hello, my name is Nina Leet from Latest Designs. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am sharing a card from the January through April mini catalog. It is using Boardwalk Fun, which is a bundle. It is a set of stamps, 9 stamps, 3 different size palm trees, this little star thing, a roller coaster, and some sentiments. Hey, sunshine, celebrate, enjoy the ride, happy birthday. I am going to be using Celebrate today. And then they come in separate packages, but I always combine my packages. Then we have the dies. These are the dies that come in the set. We have this thing that looks like a ticket, which is nice to add the sentiments to. We have this Ferris wheel. We have little cars that you can cut out in different colors and put on top of the Ferris wheel. We have these, which fit nicely on top of these little roller coaster cars here. We have some stars. We have these little diamond things. We have some palm trees, and we have this arrow. So I am going to case a card from this catalog. I am going to be making this card right here. I am going to be using ink blending to create the background. And then I do have these ready, so I will be making those as well. But I'll only be ink blending this one during the live. I think it says here, set the scene for different times of the day by using ink and blending brushes to create color gradients, which is what I'm going to do. I'm still a beginner when it comes to ink blending, but it is something I enjoy. You can see some of the other cards that I will be making, I hope, at some point using the set. Probably not that one, but I would like to try these 3. So I like to, when I first get a kit, a bundle, I like to try and case some of the cards because it makes me kind of be able to get familiar with the set without having to really think about the creative juices, and then I go from there. And there is coordinating designer series paper with this, which I am not using today, but it's 12 by 12 inch paper. And the colors that are included in this paper: Strawberry Slush, Timid Tiger, Daffodil Delight, Summer Splash, Pool Party, and Petunia Pop. So I'll be using some of those colors today. All right, so putting that to the side. I have white paper, which is 5.5 by 4.25. And I am going to start by blending. Now I'm going to be making this card. This is Strawberry Slush, Petunia Pop, and Secret Sea. So I am going to start at the bottom with my Strawberry Slush. I am doing this on this silicone sheet, which I use a lot for gluing on because the glue doesn't stick to it. And it's nice to use for inking on because it's easy to wipe the ink off. So I'm going to take my brush. I'm going to tap it on my ink pad. Rub it a little, get some ink onto it. And then I tap off just a little bit because I don't want big blotches of ink on here. I often forget to do that part, so sometimes my inking is a bit blotchy. So I'm going to do that. Oops, see, like right there, I forgot to tap off, but that's okay. Going to start off with my Strawberry Slush. Looks like the sun's coming out a little bit. We've had rain today, which is actually a nice change from snow, although we're supposed to be getting some more snow at the weekend, so we shall see. Here we go, tapping off, blending my Strawberry Slush. I'm going to be trimming the bottom of this card a little bit when it comes to making the final card. I don't like leaving this ink on the mat, so I do go back and pick it up and blend it in. I am frugal when it comes to crafting. Supplies are expensive, and I am, as a New Year's resolution, trying to keep my crafting within a budget. Not sure how successful I'll be, but I'll try. I like to do several different types of crafts. I'm trying to keep a budget for all of them. I knit and crochet. I do resin art. I've just started learning how to quilt. So I do like to sew. But it all adds up. All right, so that looks good for the strawberry slush. I'm now going to move on to the petunia pop. The colors are very similar, so I'm not going to actually change my brush for this. Just going to get rid of some of the extra ink on here. And then I'm going to use the same colored brush for my petunia pop. I started with my strawberry slush, which was a little bit of a lighter color. I don't want to do the darker color into the lighter color. But have you ever tried ink blending before? And if so, what are your thoughts? Do you like it? Do you find it challenging? Is it something you're not at all interested in?
I'm just going to speed up this blending part.
There we go. Now these inks do kind of settle in after time, so they may not look as blended at the moment, but as they absorb into the paper, you'll see they blend out a bit more. This does use your ink, so you need to make sure you have re-inker so you can re-ink your pads. You don't need to do it every time, but it will use up the ink a little bit. These are not Stampin' Up! Brushes. I got these off of Amazon. I'm going to try to invest in some of the Stampin' Up! Ones this year. I think they'll probably be better. I think quality brushes are important, but I didn't start off that way. Because we all have to start somewhere.
Speeding up again.
I'll leave that like that. Now I'm going to move into my Secret C. So I need to use a different brush. I love this color, Secret C. It's a really, really deep blue. you're watching this on my replay, I would love for you to leave a little comment, say hello, let me know where you are or what you're doing. Let me know if you have ever ink blended before. I'm going to come down a little bit here. I'm not re-inking now, just a very light bit because I just want to make it look a bit more nighttime-ish. So I'm just taking the ink that's left on my brush, just kind of give it a more nighttime look, just like Twilight. I think that's good. Now, at twilight, the stars start to come out. So, I take a sip of my tea. So to make the stars, I'm using this Whisper White ink refill. Now, before I get started, I'm going to actually take a wipe and just wipe the ink off of here so I don't transfer it, because like I said, I am a messy crafter. It's not a very wet wipe. It's been sitting out for a while. Okay, and now this part I should be doing in a splatter box, but I'm feeling lazy. So I'm going to add a little bit of this. I could put it on my glass mat, or I could put it on the silicone mat. I'm going to put it on the glass mat for now, a little drop. I'm going to spray a little water. And I'm going to take my brush, a paintbrush, a thin paintbrush, and my bone folder. Oh, that looks a bit watered out. And I'm just going to make a mess. Tap my brush on the bone folder. And you'll see that white splatters everywhere. I end up with it on my glasses, on my clothes. Should use a splatter box, but whatever. And then if you want, you can take a bit, and you can also, if you want to get finer sprays, I just kind of brush it like this and flick it off my brush, and it gets me slightly finer sprays. There we go. I find with this that I want to keep going, but it is best when I stop before I think I'm done. Otherwise, if I wait until I think I'm done, I've gone too far. So I'm just going to wipe this off. Wipe this off. I need to set this aside to dry. I put it up there for now. I'm going to wipe down this mat. I'm going to wipe that up. That's the beauty of the silicone mat and the glass mat. Everything cleans up nicely. Okay. Okay, so now while that's drying, I am going to cut out my roller coaster.
I meant to say Ferris wheel.
So I'm going to use this roller coaster. I am also going to use the largest star. And I'm going to use these little roller coaster cars. Going to move my mat, my whatever they call it, a sheet. I call it a mat. I'm going to bring in my cut and emboss machine. I'm going to put my piece of, I have my layer 1, my platform 1, my shim, which is number 2. This is a number 3. It's an old one. It doesn't have a number on it, but it's a number 3 clear cutting board. This is the one I use a lot. It's very etched. Then I put down my cardstock. I'm going to put it at a little bit of an angle so it's not perpendicular. I'm going to take this die and put it, this is the raised ones or the cutting side. This is the smooth back. I'm going to put it cutting side down. Going to put this here, making sure there's plenty of space because they do sometimes shift a little and I don't want them to shift one on top of the other because if this is on top like this, it will cut into this metal and can damage the die. So if you want, you can take tape and tape them down if you're afraid that they're going to move. Then on the top is going to be my other number 3, the clear one. This one does have some etching marks. I've accidentally cut into it a few times. I have made a video about using this machine. It'll be live on my YouTube tomorrow. But this is my top one. It's smoother. Eventually, when my bottom one breaks, this top one will become my bottom one. And then my brand new one will be the new top. And I do that because all these little etched marks on the one that I cut on do eventually leave impressions on the cardstock. And I only want that to be on the back of my die, not the front. So I'm going to push this through. This handle does go both ways. So if you're a lefty or a righty, you can put it in this way and turn it. It doesn't matter. Fold this up, move this out of the way. Now, all of these pieces, I am going to put them on there. All right, punch everything out. I like to use the Take-A-Pick tool. All the dies, all the dies have little release holes, so you can push them through to release. And you can see the edges. See how those edges are a little rough? That's smoother, so that's the front. But if you do flip it over, it's not the end of the world. Then I like to put them away right away because I don't want to lose them. All of the die cuts have the number of dies, so you know there are 11 dies in this set. Then this is my roller coaster. These are my roller coaster cars. So I'm using my Take-A-Pick tool to poke and get that out. Put that away. And then I like to poke all these pieces out on top of this because it makes it easier to kind of pick them up and take it to my garbage and dump them all in because I don't need those pieces. I flip it over. You can see I missed that one. I missed that one. Okay. And now I use the release holes to punch it out and carefully lift it with my Take-A-Pick tool. And there you have it. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put this away. Try to clean up everything as I'm going along because I don't want to lose any pieces. Then I'm going to take this to my garbage can. It gets staticky. They'll stand up on end. And I'm just going to dump it all into my garbage. And then I will actually save this piece because there's quite a bit of space there and you can use it for lots of things. I have a box that I keep all my scraps in. I probably should be more organized with my scraps and organize them by color, but I don't. Maybe one day. This is getting to be drier. Now, I'm going to take a card base, a white card base, 8.5. Oh boy, 8.5 by 5.5. It's a typical card size, A2 card size. I scored it at 4 1/4. When you score, you can see how this is sort of indented. right? And this one pops up. If you have a thick cardstock, I like to fold it so this part is on the inside. So I fold it over. I take my bone folder. And this is going to go on here, but I want to stamp. If you look at my example, what they did, I think, in the catalog is they masked the bottom and ink blended the top, but I like to do it as a separate piece, just in case I screw it up. So now I'm going to trim, and I want this to be 3.5 inches high. So I'm just going to go trim that a little from the top and a little from the bottom. There we go. And that fits nicely. So I'm going to glue that down. I prefer to use liquid glue over tape runner because it's a little more forgiving. You have wiggle room. Things don't stick as soon as they hit each other. You don't need a lot. It is a little messier, but it's my preference, and everybody has their own preference. So you do you and use what you like. I'll line that up there. It does take a little longer to dry, but then I get to wiggle it around and make sure it's even. There we go. Okay, so now I am going to take my block and I am going to stamp Celebrate. There we go. And you know what? I should have stamped my roller coaster on here before I trimmed it, but I didn't do that. So, c'est la vie. I'm going to do it now. I have this in. This is no longer available, but there is a new one coming out. I'm just going to get this lined up how I like it. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to ink this up. I found that with my stamp, I do not get a clean, crisp image the first time, and this is a large stamp. So I like to use some sort of positioner so I can restamp. I don't want to push too hard because I don't want to squish it. I would rather do several lighter layers of ink. See, like I missed there. Then smush because I want to keep the detail. There we go. Okay. I'm going to take my chamois and clean this. It does stain inks, but it doesn't make any damage to your ink, to your stamp, so it's okay. Okay. Actually, I don't even know why I removed that. I'm going to stick it back on there. It's a good place to leave it for now. All right, so here is this. Now, it is a little wet. So for the sake of this, I'm just going to use my heat tool to dry it a little bit and set the ink. because I would touch it and smudge it. It may still be a little wet, but ooh, drop my thing. All right. So now I have this in Secret C. I'm going to bring my silicone mat in, my silicone sheet. And I also have this silicone brush that I got from Michaels, which I actually bought for my resin art. But I'm going to put the glue here. And then I'm going to kind of paint the glue onto the back of this. Now this Tombow glue, multi-purpose glue, if you leave it, it becomes a little tacky and it will squish out less. So if you let it kind of sit for a minute or two before you stick it. I don't know why I put so much over there since I'm going to be putting it off the card a little. I think they may have actually popped this up in the card. I was going to do that, but I forgot. So again, that's okay. I'm going to put it on here. And I'm going to stick it so it's a little off the card because I like to break that plane a little bit. There we go, like that. And this little star will go in the middle. It makes it look like the spokes. See, but the liquid glue means I can move it around so it's right in the middle. Now these, I am going to try to pop up. These are going to go like this. So I'm going to try and pop them up. I have some mini glue dots, mini dimensionals, and my scissors, because they need to be a lot smaller than this. So let's see if this will work, because I haven't tried this before. I didn't have these on my original cards. So I have reverse tweezers as well. Let's see if I can get this so that it doesn't show too much. Stick that there. Grab this. There we go. And the last one. Now I'll see that nothing hopefully is showing through too much. It's a little, but can't be perfect. I'm going to take my pick tool and peel all those off. Okay. I'm going to line this up. I don't like how much I can see of that white one. I'm going to trim these down a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to take my paper snips and trim this off. There we go. So that's the card. And then, since I trimmed off a little of that from the top and the bottom, I have these. So I thought I might put one of them on the inside. Summer Splash, Strawberry Slush, or Secret Sea. I think I'm going to use the Secret Sea. There you go. That's why I like the liquid glue. I can move it. So there's that one. If you look in the catalog, they have these two. I've done these as well. So I'm just going to show you those. So I did a spare one in case I messed up. So this is Pool Party and Summer Splash. This is actually my original card. I used Daffodil Delight, but in this one I used Ugly Duckling, and then Timid Tiger, and then Strawberry Slush. So I am going to actually this time stamp my roller coaster first, which is what I should have done on the first card. Now I'm doing this in black. You could do it in Secret Sea if you wanted to. You could cut out the details in black and do the back in black. It's completely up to you. I see I missed a part right there. All right, so I'm going to do that one to dry. And I'm going to stamp up this one. Now, I'm not going to touch this to my card because it has ink on it. So I'm just eyeballing it. I could clean off the ink, but, you know, I'm lazy. My stamp is getting more conditioned now. Okay, I'm going to clean off my stamp. Be careful when you're peeling these off. They can rip. I haven't had it happen, but I have heard of people that it has happened to. So now I'm going to just trim these so that they're 3.5 inches by 5 1/4. I have my card bases. There you go. I have this already cut. dry. Okay. Trim that down. Glue that one on. Doesn't really matter what order you trim it down. Okay. Now I'm going to glue where's my take a pick tool? I'm gonna glue the stars in the middle. Give that to dry. Give that a minute to dry. I'm going to use, these are not mini dots, they're large, but I'm going to try them because they're black. Oh, but wait a minute, haha, I have mini ones. There we go. I'm going to use the mini black dots. I think that's going to be better. Okay, to go on the back of my roller coaster. Actually, I should glue this one down on here. There goes my bone folder. Messy crafter, as I said. Okay, so now let's try this. See if this works. Still cutting them. Okay. It's a little better with the black glue dots. Where's my Celebrate? I'm going to stamp Celebrate in black. Don't want to stamp it upside down. That would not be good. Oh, fudgesicle. See, look at that. C'est la vie. There we go. Okay, so there's that one. With a little smudge, but it is what it is. While I have this here, look at that. I'm going to have to wipe all that up. Ooh, that was terrible. Ooh, not great. I may end up sticking something over that. All right, I was flustered by all of this. All right, don't think I'm going to do a 3D on that one for now, but for this one, in the catalog, they show it with stars, these little diamonds. So what I did is I ink blended on a piece of white cardstock and then punched them out, dyed them, die cut them. So I am going to just add them onto here. One. Two. 3. I like to do an odd amount, so I'm going to stick 5 on here. Oh, yep, I stuck those on. All right. Stuck that on. Now the inside, the pieces that I trimmed off. There we go. Okay, so that one I have to figure out what I'm going to do. I may look at what I have. That actually fits. So I feel like I should do it. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little blending in Summer Splash. But I'm not worried about it being too smooth because I am going to be die cutting it. It needs to be a little longer. I shall be back. There we go. And now I don't want to see that, so I think I need to put it over some white. So I think what I'm going to do is glue this on the white. And then my hands are gluey. There we go. And that is going to cover that beautifully. And then I don't know what I'm going to stamp on it, but I feel like, I don't know, should I stamp something? I think it has to go that way. I'm going to try this again. There we go. Close up my inks before I make more of a mess. Wipe down this glue. So now let's see what we have. We have the 2 cards that I did in Summer Splash and Pool Party. Then I have the two that I did. This one is Daffodil Delight Timid Tiger Summer Splash. This is Ugly Darling Duckling Timid Tiger Summer Strawberry Slash, sorry. And then Strawberry Slush at the bottom, Petunia Pop, and Secrecy. Now there is one other thing I wanted to show you, which is this one. If you aren't into ink blending, this is another option. You want to use watercolor paper. So one side is smoother than the other. Just cleaning up a little here. But you can do, this is a little piece of acetate that you get in like packaging or something like that. So you can, let's see, use, I'm going to use Darling Duckling. I'm going to tap a bit of this. That's too much, but that's okay. Just get it a little wet. And I'm going to tap it on here and get sort of spread it around, get sort of a watercolory effect. And then I'm going to clean this. Then I'm going to do the next one, which is Timid Tiger. Spray. See how it's moving around. Spreading it. Wiping everything down. Usually you need to dry this in between, but this is drying pretty quickly. But you can either let it dry on its own, or you can use your heat tool. Just give it a quick blast. And then I'm going to finish off with Strawberry Slush. I went from lighter to darker, just in case there was a little contamination. But I move around a little. Trying to do lines because the sky with the clouds will sometimes look like that. Dry it off. spray this with a little water. Wipe it up with my cloth. Nice and clean. This cloth just ends up going in the washing machine. And then you can do the same thing with that. You can stamp your roller coaster and put this on. And that's what I did on this one. Right? It will go on a regular card base. I'll stamp my roller coaster and do the same thing. So you don't have to ink blend. You can do sort of a watercolor effect. So that's that. All my cards. Even my oopsies. I hope you liked them. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye.